What up, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, but we also talk about way more than just that. We also get into e-commerce, how to sell a product online. We talk about how to build an audience from scratch. Really, at the end of the day, I'm trying to help you reach your full potential as a creator, as an inventor, as a business owner, as someone who wants to make an impact on the world, bring ethical products into the world to be able to impact thousands of people worldwide. That's what I want to help you with. And actually, one of my community members actually reached out to me recently via an email on my website. If you go to my website, crowdcrux.com, just go to the contact me section, you can send me an email. I've been getting a lot of emails on this question, and it goes along something like this. Hey Sal, love the YouTube videos, but I got a question. What happens if someone steals my idea? What happens if I do a Kickstarter campaign like you talk about and someone steals this idea and runs with it? What's going to happen? So I wanted to introduce that and really dissect that and answer that question in depth in today's YouTube video, and it's coming up right after this. Okay, so let's get right into this question, and I'll be honest with you that to me, this was actually a huge fear when I first got started in online business. And the first time that this happened to me, someone ripped off one of my products. People have ripped off my ideas before, and it's one of the most heart-wrenching experiences ever because you pour your blood, sweat, and tears, your entire soul into something like writing a book, and then someone tries to rip it off and sell it. Dude, I've even had people who would try to sell services using my face, saying, look, Salvador sanctions or certified by Salvador this service, right? And they're trying to actually say that I'm the one who's selling it, but I'm not. They'll hit you up on Reddit, they'll hit you up on all these different websites. They'll say, look, go and buy this service, and really it's not me. So you can only trust services that I link to specifically on this channel, on my website, crowdcrux.com, or if you get an email from me from my address, that's the only things that you can trust. So I understand this, and to be honest, there have been as well clients that I've worked with in the past, both students and clients who have had their product ripped off for when it comes to an e-commerce product, an e-commerce idea of some sort when it comes to Kickstarter. So I want to answer this question directly, honestly, and you can then go with this answer and do as you please. The short answer is that if you have an idea and you've actually taken action on that idea, you just have an idea in your mind, you've actually taken action, you've gotten this into a physical product of some kind or even a business, right, which is operating, chances are that if you're doing anything right and you begin to see success online, yes, people will begin to try to rip you off. You become a target. The more successful that you become a target for other people. Now, the converse of that is that because you have success, you can also have a brand which is growing and sort of creating this defensive moat around what it is that you're doing. Whenever someone tries to rip off a product, let's just say it's a really well-made product, they're going to be ripping off in a really shoddy, not so well-made way. People are going to be buying that. They're not very happy with that. They want to have quality products that last. And they also want to support the inventor that actually came up with that product. So my first quick answer for you is that if you are doing anything meaningful and if you do see success, chances are at some point in time in this journey or even any other journey that you go on, people are going to try to rip you off. You're going to become a little bit of a target. The second thing though is that what are your options, right? Your only other option is to not take action because you could have a patent, which is great intellectual property, but what happens if someone is ripping you off literally on the other side of the globe? Like someone who's in China or someone who's in a different country is trying to rip you off. It's very difficult for you to enforce intellectual property and a patent abroad. Within your own country, yes, it's definitely easy. And obviously you should have a patent portfolio as you go and as you grow as an entrepreneur and a business person. But in terms of enforcing that, it is quite challenging to do that when it comes to abroad, when you're dealing with so many different parties and people that don't even have faces and names, right, attached to what they're doing online. So your only real option is just not to take action. And that is an excuse, my friend, because if you are the first mover, if you're really the one to get this out there first, to build a brand that lasts, to have people actually loving your product, loving the craftsmanship behind it, and also being willing to spend money on your actual campaign and your product and what it is that you're selling online, chances are that that's going to begin to create a relationship, right, with those individuals. They're going to want to buy from your brand, not some knockoff brand that's kind of cheaply made from really bad materials that falls apart in a month or two, right? They actually want a product that lasts if they're going to be spending their hard-earned dollars on something online. Your second option would be just to play it very close to the vest and not really talk about your product at all and not share or, sketches and things like that with your community as you're leading up to the launch of a Kickstarter campaign, or not tell anyone like a business coach or something like that who can help you, or a marketer who can help you. But the problem with that is that you're so closed off that it dramatically handicaps you. It's almost like you're cutting off both of your arms, and it's really impossible to do anything, right? Because you can't market it, you can't promote it, you can't talk about it with other people. And because of that, it never really leaves that beginning stage of just being an idea. If you want to get your product off the ground, if you want to sell thousands of this around the world, you got to be willing to collaborate with other people, work with marketers like myself, work with business coaches, have people who can help you with your designs, etc. And the only way you do that is if you're willing to work with other people and to build a team around your campaign. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. So the approach that I recommend when it comes to my students, and also kind of my own mindset when it comes to this, is not to be focusing on the what, right? Which is the product, but really be focusing on the who, which is who it is that you're serving. What's more important than just the product and selling that thing online is really about developing a relationship, building a brand from scratch, because people can rip off Apple products, people can rip off Microsoft products, people can rip off Nike shoes. But at the end of the day, the brand is what has value and what has long-lasting durability. And in addition, you're going to be coming out with more and more products in the future, or upgrades, or different product lines. The brand is the moneymaker. The brand is the strong foundation which will allow you to outlast all of your competitors. And yes, they can try to really cut down their margins to like razor thin margins and sell the exact same thing as you. But keep in mind, if they have those razor thin margins, they then can't put money back into marketing. They can't put money back into R&D. It's really a very short-term play. And because of that, you can outlast all of these other little competitors, these Me Too competitors that are cropping up, because again, you have the brand. Now, that being said, I will say this, okay? So I'm not backtracking here, but I will say one thing, okay? And that's, again, because I want to be transparent. And that's the fact that if you do have a killer product and you come up with a whiz-bang, gangbuster idea, blockbuster product idea, you gotta register that domain name ASAP. And I'm even talking about before you register your LLC, or if you're doing a corporation, your corporation. I really recommend grabbing digital assets as quickly as you can. And here's why. I had a student one time who came to me, told me about this beautiful, incredible product, which he had been working on, and he just actually recently filed his LLC, right? And immediately he went to go and to try to find that product name to get the domain name. And guess what? Someone else must have seen that he filed that Inc. or that, certain company name, and they grabbed the domain name, because it's a very esoteric domain name as well, right? They grabbed that domain name very quickly. So this is a business. Other people are going to try to acquire those domain names, acquire those handles on social media, grab those as quickly as possible, because again, they're going to try and then sell that to you. Maybe you have to spend a little bit more on that domain name. They have to make a trade in some way. Whenever you have a great idea or a great product name or a business name or something like that, make sure you grab those digital assets as quickly as possible so you don't have to wrestle with someone else when it comes to that. As a homework assignment, number one, go and listen to some of the episodes of my podcast. So I publish a version of that on YouTube. I also have a version on Spotify, iTunes, and pretty much any other podcast app that's out there. So you can listen to this while you're doing laundry, while you're doing dishes, while you're running, right? While you're going to the gym, you're commuting to work, you have a really long car ride, great chance to listen to the podcast. And you hear from every single guest that I've had on who has done $100,000 and $1 million crowdfunding campaigns. And they will tell you the best thing that they did was tease different versions of the product as they were coming out with the actual campaign, shared their sketches, shared all the craftsmanship leading up to that. Maybe they don't give away, obviously, all of the technology that goes into the product, but they are telling the story, which creates a relationship with the community. So you do have to do this. And I think that's a great homework exercise to go and listen to some of those episodes of the podcast. But in addition, if you just want to speed to the finish line, right? I talk a lot about like learning different kinds of concepts. For example, you're trying to learn how to play tennis, right? You're trying to learn how to surf. Or I was just paddleboarding the other weekend, trying to learn how to paddleboard in Miami. You can try to struggle and figure this out over a number of years in terms of playing tennis and really how to hold the racket and how to swing it best and how to stand, or you can just hire a tennis instructor, right? Who can tell you how to do it very easily, and it can fix your swing, whether it comes to golf or it comes to tennis. And the exact same thing exists in this industry, which is, for me, I've always wanted to be able to upgrade people's potential. I do that with my books, I do it with my courses, and I also make myself available when it comes to individual coaching calls. So if you've ever wanted my expertise to really draw from this library of information, which I have in my head in terms of what works, what doesn't, and to be honest, just the things that you don't know. Sometimes just what you don't know can kind of harm you because you don't know the road ahead. So if you really like to have a guide through you on this process, someone who can hold your hand every step of the way, can give you feedback on critical items, an intensive coaching call will cover all of that. And all you gotta do is go to the link down below, book an intensive coaching call with me, and we can get that call scheduled ASAP. In addition, for some students that are out there, maybe you're interested in long-term coaching, we can talk more about that. Or maybe you're interested in getting some help when it comes to execution with this project. We can also talk about that at the end of the call. But these are designed to be one-off, intensive, extremely useful, and value-packed calls that I share with you. So that way you can start taking some action. You can get not only the inspiration from the podcast, but also the actual action plan, the steps necessary, the questions, all of that answered. So you can really have like the speed effect, almost like you're putting it on light speed in order to get from point A to point B. And you can become a master of this much faster without having to read through many, many articles, books, watch tons and tons of videos. Why not just cut that time in half? I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and if you do have some questions, you can always shoot me an email again at my website, crowdcrux.com. I maybe decide to answer your question in one of my future videos. But that being said, if you did enjoy this video, subscribe to this channel so you can get more notifications from me when I put out new videos. I put them out pretty much once every week. In addition, if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for being a part of this community and also kind of showing up, being willing to take action, plow through those difficult emotions, and launch a product in an ethical way. I think this is gonna be an incredible journey for you, and I'm excited to be there with you as well.